Should I start?
Yes, please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 45th meeting of Central Delhi Toastmasters Club. Now, you all must have heard of this quote. The secret of getting ahead is to get started. And that is exactly what we all have done by coming at Toastmasters. We all have come out of our comfort zones here to speak in front of the audience. People join Toastmaster with various goals, but collectively, our club's mission is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Now, let me all introduce you to the president of our club, Mr. Karanveer Singh. He is currently pursuing his BTech from IP University, and in the past, he has served club with various posts such as BPPR, SAA, and Treasurer. He is extremely hardworking and helpful.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Navya. Very good evening, fellow Toastmasters and all the dear guests. I welcome you all to 445th meeting of Central Delhi Toastmasters. Can we give a huge round of applause to ourselves for coming here today? Well, before we get into the presidential address, let's take 30 seconds and pray for world peace. May I request everyone to close their eyes for 30 seconds. Thank you very much. Well, before we get started, I would love to know how many of you are interested here in mountains, who love to visit mountains, or you love trekking, or you love mountains in general over beaches. Well, I'll raise my hand too, because I recently had one trekking experience. But today I don't want to talk about the trekking experience. Instead, I want to talk about a documentary called 14 Peaks. I'm not sure how many of you have watched it, but I got to watch this very recently last week, and I was nothing but stunned. So 14 Peaks is a documentary about a man named Nirmal Purja. He's a mountaineer who decided to conquer world's 14 highest peaks in the span of less than 7 months. So to give you context here, another person who did the same, he conquered 14 peaks in 7 years. So, but this man decided to do it under the name of Mission Possible in less than 7 months, and he actually did it. Now, when I saw this documentary, I could see a man with sheer determination who decided to do something, and he eventually did it. Then, yes, so he eventually did it. So when I saw this, I felt like what kind of stamina, what kind of attitude this man has. When you're going on a mission like this, you want to climb 14 highest peaks, you definitely know for a fact that you may not come home. There are 50% chances that you may not come home alive. You know this, your family knows this, your spouse also knows this, but still you go ahead with that mission because you have that faith in yourself and that never give up attitude. There is a scene in this documentary where they are submitting they're about to summit mountain K2 in Pakistan, and the weather suddenly turns harsh. So there is a snowstorm coming, and they are not able to climb up further. So a fellow mountaineer suggested that maybe we should just go back because we cannot go any further. And then when Nirmal Pooja came ahead and said, giving up is not in the blood, brother. Giving up is not in the blood. And same confidence, with same smile, he conquered the peak K2, and not only he did, but he also his team did. What did I learn from this? I felt like sometimes in our lives we have something, we have our goals, and then we decide not to do it because we give ourselves those stories that, okay, maybe I cannot do it because I'm very busy, I have this thing at stake, and so I should just give it up. But do you really think there are things at stake, or is it just too easy to give up? Think about it. And in Toastmasters as well. When we started our Toastmasters journey, we were very enthusiastic. We took up roles, we prepared for it really, really well. We put in hours and hours into our speeches. But in the long run, have we lost that energy? Or have we just decided to give up on that and we just do the rules for the sake of doing it? Think about it. Now it's time for me to welcome some dignitaries present in the room. Please help me welcome distinguished Toastmaster Deepak Menon, past international president. We welcome you to the club, sir. And I would like to also acknowledge the presence of past president of Central Delhi Toastmaster Gurpreet Babbar in the audience. Thank you for joining, Gurpreet. And I see a lot of guests today, and I also see our past president of Central Delhi Toastmaster Gursafar. We welcome you to the club. Now it's time for our guest introduction. May I request all the guests to start one by one. I'll be calling out your name and you can tell who you are, how did you come to know about Toastmasters, and may I request guest Nikhil to start with. Yes, Nikhil, please go ahead.
Everyone,
Yes.
good evening. I'm Nikhil Jain. I hail from Sagar, Madhya Pradesh. Currently working in Delhi with ONGC as a marketing officer. I have come to know about Toastmasters from 4-5 years back through some of my colleagues. I didn't get any time to join the club at that time, and then I got busy with my professional engagements. But right now, I came back to Delhi a year back, and now I felt that I wanted to interact with people, but I felt that I lack that confidence, or you can say I lack. There is some hesitation in me, so I want to get rid of that hesitation and want to speak confidently, and that's why I'm here today. Trying to come here and join you guys. I hope I'll have a great time here. That's it.
Thank you so much, Nikhil. You are at the right place, and we all come here for removing that hesitation, and eventually we all do. So you are at the right place. May I request guest Karthik to go next, please. Karthik, can we have you on stage, please?
Hey, hi everyone. So, to be frank, this is my first session here in Toastmasters. So my sister was a part of this, and she encouraged me a lot to pitch into this so that my communication skills better, and I get to know a lot of people, and I love to engage with people on and their ideas and perception on different things. So this is what I wanted to improve on, and this was the platform which was going to provide me with the thing which I had in my mind. So I just love to interact with people, get to know people, what their perspective is on different things, and so I just wanted to join over here.
Thank you so much, Karthik. Welcome to Central Delhi Toastmasters. May I request guest Jasmine to go next, please. Yes, Jasmine, the stage is all yours.
Hi everyone, I'm Jasmine. Basically, I'm an engineering graduate, and right now I'm preparing for UPSC. So just to get the exposure of trying out new things and being confident to speak in front of people was the main goal to come over here and join Toastmasters. And just to try out new things in life which I've not tried before was the goal. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. We hope you have a nice time today and we all learn together. So may I request guest Kalyan to please introduce himself.
Hi everyone, this is Kalyan. I'm basically from Hyderabad. This is the first session of mine with the Tech Master, and I have came to know this about Mr. Joy, whom I have met recently in a December in Dubai trip. than a fellow travelers. So looking forward for it. I just wanted to know more about the people and love it up.
Thank you so much, Kalyan. We hope you have a great time. Yes, the Toastmaster Joy did inform me that he'll be having some friends over for his special session of team mod today. May I
Thank you.
request guest Mamta to please go next and introduce herself.
Hi everyone, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I hope everyone is safe within, because COVID is surging in Delhi. So I am from Andhra Pradesh. So I moved to Delhi 5 months ago, and I am a business manager for Mahajan Imaging. So I got to know about Toastmasters from my college itself. Like, we had a Toastmasters club, and I had attended 1-2 sessions there, but like I never really got a chance to be a part of the club because of my curriculum. So I after that I wanted to join and then kept on procrastinating. Finally, as a New Year resolution, I took it up to myself that I would join and like pitch in. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Mamta. That was
I'm
a good
sorry.
resolution, and I definitely hope you continue with us.
Yeah. I'm sorry I'm not able to, like, I don't have electricity in my house, so it would be no use if I start the video also.
No worries, no worries. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank
May I
you.
request guest Sashank to go next, please?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Shashank and I'm from Gurgaon, Haryana. Right now, I'm pursuing my MBA from Symbiosis, and I got to know about Toastmaster from one of my colleagues. And while I was working for Capgemini, and I wanted to join Toastmaster because I wanted to improve myself, improve my communication skills, and I wanted to, increase my, I would say, professional network, as well as wanted to have some friends. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shashank. You are at the right place. We are a community of friends and family.
Thank you.
May I request guest Soumya to please introduce herself? Soumya, are you there? All right, let's move to guest Shruti. Guest Shruti, may I request you to please introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone, and thanks a lot for the warm welcome. I'm Shruti, and I'm an HR professional, and I'm here to learn more. I got to know about Toastmaster from my colleague. So, here to learn and interact and get to know more people. I think it's a great platform to be at and be accountable of your own self learning. So, I think looking forward to this journey. But happy to hear all the HR jokes. I think by my 5 years of journey in HR, I've heard all the HR jokes, but happy to hear more. Looking forward to this. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you so much, Shruti. Welcome to Central Delhi Toastmasters. Hope you have a great time. We will continue with the guest introduction in the later half of the meeting. For now, guests can put their introduction down in the chat box. And all the guests, please keep an eye on table topic segment. It's a segment where you can also participate. What is going to happen in that, you will eventually come to know. Now it's time to call upon stage someone who has been given the crown of Chief Happiness Officer of Central Delhi Toastmasters. He is someone, he is a medical writer from US by profession, but when you talk to him, you come to know about he is such an all-rounder. He can dance, he can sing, he can play well, and then he can write well. What is it which he can't do? Well, we don't know. The Toastmaster Joy has always been a mystery. Please help me welcome the Toastmaster of the day, our host of this evening, Toastmaster Joy, with his theme, Beating the Quarantine Blues, Beating the Quarantine Blues, Toastmaster Joy. Over to you.
Thank you, TM Karanveer. Toastmaster of the day, T-Mod. That's me today. We live in unprecedented times. Waves of coronavirus infections have taken a toll on all of us physically, emotionally, financially. New cases are growing exponentially around us. I wish a speedy recovery to several of our club members who are under the weather and are currently in quarantine. Today at Central Delhi Toastmasters, we will do what we do during adversities. Gather around and lift each other up as we battle this pandemic together. Let me put on my defensive gear. Yes, I am ready. Well, wait a minute. The sword and shield are not going to save me from this virus. Instead, this fancy print mask will protect me much better. Everyone, please remember to mask up. Toastmasters, funny name, but a very supportive meeting space for personal growth and networking. Here, we endeavor to nurture public speaking and leadership skills. Our regular club meetings are structured around 3 parts. The first part showcases club members delivering prepared speeches that have received mentoring from experienced Toastmasters. Next comes my favorite part, where any member of the audience, including the guests, especially the guests, are invited to give a short speech on a topic that is given out on the spot by Table Topics Master. The last part is when the general evaluator and his team of auxiliary role players provide constructive feedback on various aspects of the meeting. I have noticed dramatic improvements in my presentation skills from what I have learned in this session.
Toastmaster Joy, we cannot hear you.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are now.
What do you call it when you unexpectedly lose audio in a Zoom meeting? What do you call it when you unexpectedly lose audio in a Zoom meeting? A mutation. A mutation. This is my cue to ask everyone, members and guests, to turn on your video and keep it on. Seeing your beautiful smiling faces is a great source of encouragement for me and the other speakers. Now, it is my privilege to introduce Toastmasters who are playing important roles in today's meeting. They have been kind enough to share how they have dealt with days, weeks, and months of pandemic-related restrictions. I will start out with only a partial list of new things I dabbled in the last 2 years to avoid the boredom of isolation. I watched several series on Netflix. Well, here's a pop quiz. Can anyone guess which, based on what they see me wearing, which one was my favorite show in Netflix last year?
Squid Game.
You got it. Squid Game is the show that in all 9 episodes, I got so hooked, I finished in one Sunday. The giveaway was the jacket I'm wearing has a Squid Game reference. 456 is the last player in the game. Well, I also tried to learn how to birdwatch, make cocktails. I tried to speak Spanish. I wrote protest poetry. I also derived the unifying equation of space-time continuum, finally. And of course, negotiated a peaceful end to the Arab-Israeli conflict. I will let you guess which ones are tall tales. Regardless, now I am jack of many trades, but master of none. To keep track of the time spent on each speaker, please help me welcome timer for today's meeting, Toastmaster Sparshita Verma. Sparshita is studying economics and psychology. During the lockdowns, she watched several shows like Kota Factory, Arya, Family Man, etc. Once she is finished with Netflix, She plans on taking on Amazon Prime and then Disney Hotstar. TM Sparshika.
Thank you so much, Timur. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. My name is Parshita and I will be the timer for today's meeting. As a timer, I will be keeping the record of the time taken by the speakers. For a better understanding, I will be sharing my screen now. Can I get a quick confirmation if my screen is visible? All right. So as the team had said, there are 3 segments of the meeting. For the prepared speeches segment, as soon as a speech hits 5 minutes, a green card like this will be shown. As soon as a speech hits 6 minutes, a yellow card like this will be shown. And as soon as a speech hits 7 minutes, a red card will be shown like this. For the second segment of the meeting, which is the table topic speakers, as soon as a speech hits 1 minute, a green card will be shown. After 1.5 minutes, a yellow card, and after 2 minutes, a red card will be shown. For the third segment, which is the speech evaluation, a green card will be shown after 2 minutes, a yellow one after 2.5 minutes, and after 3, a red card will be shown. Please note that a buffer time of 30 seconds on lower and upper side for all speakers except the table topic speakers, where the buffer time of 30 seconds is only on the upper side. With this, I request everyone to speak within the allotted time. Thank you, and back to the TM audience.
Thank you, TM Sparshita. To track the good and not so good use of language, we have the language evaluator of the day, Toastmaster Abhishek Singh. Abhishek is a computer engineer and says he has figured out how to stay happy in spite of being in isolation. TM Abhishek.
Good evening, everyone. Though the quarantine has been a very tough phase of our lives, there was apparently one good thing which happened to us, and that was online conferences. Since the beginning of the lockdown, the world had no choice but to go online. Apps like Zoom and Google Meet flourished, and that gave a new platform for newbies to reach out to a large people verbally. This is where good use of English plays a role. It not only makes you the most impressive in the crowd, but also gives you a sense of confidence to portray yourself in front of people, and that makes your speech more impactful. My name is Abhishek Singh, and I'll be the language evaluator for the day. I'll be noting down the good and not so good usage of English in your speeches. The word of the day is clinomania, which means excessive desire to stay in bed. For example, clinomania has struck people these days, making their mornings a struggle. I urge you all to use the word of the day in your sentences and make it more creative. Everyone is requested to show a thumbs up whenever the word of the day is used. The mode of communication is English, and whoever speaks in any other language is requested to translate it into English. I'll be presenting my final report in the evaluation segment. Thank you, everyone. Back to the TMOD.
Thank you, TM Abhishek. Now, to keep track of filler words like ahs and ums during the meeting, we have the ah counter of the day, Toastmaster Darshan Singh. Darshan is an engineer and freelance content creator. He finished several movie series like Harry Potter and Mission Impossible during the extended downtimes. TM Darshan.
Well, how many engineers are there in Toastmasters Club? I think we are increasing in numbers. Isn't it that, Mr. President? Okay, so beating the quarantine blues with a cup of tea and a good movie. I hope Team Joy, you heard it right. So my duty, or I can say that my role, it is our counter. What does our counter do in the Toastmasters meeting? Okay, every one of you know, but let me clarify that. The speakers, while writing their speeches, they think my speech is absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna win this. But when you come onto the stage and you speak for 5 to 7 minutes, how many times you stop, or how many times you take long pauses or short pauses, or how many times you stutter in between? Isn't it that? Well, there are few areas of improvements. Like in a sentence, we say, we are going in a in a car and we are going to climb the mountain. See, there are some very annoying things that while we're speaking, we wanted to speak fluently, but we are stuck. So there is a need for improvement. And in Toastmasters, we give you a liberty to improve yourself. How? You have auxiliary role players, and you have one of the best auxiliary role player, that is the R counter. The R counter will make sure that you speak as fluent as possible and you become the master of the English speaking. Well, I'll be noting down some of the filler words that the speakers will be going to do today. Well, and I will also give you the tips in the evaluation segment that how to not repeat those words, like us, and repetitions of the words, pauses, longs and short, whatever there are. First of all, I will be noting down that, and then I will tell you how to remove that all those filler words or sounds, or like some of people think that they're anxious or in the anxiety mode. How to remove that? We'll give you the tips in the evaluation segment. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Darshan. I would like this moment to make mention of the fact that due to the raging pandemic, several of our scheduled role players were not able to attend, and many, like Darshan Singh, have had to step in, specifically Darshan, who has stepped in within the last 30 minutes before the meeting to take on this role. So thank you, Darshan. Today's parliamentarian is new member T.M. Bhavanand Jha. This is his first role play at Toastmasters. He is an electronics engineer and has searched for the purpose of life through meditation during the lockdown. T.M. Bhavanand.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Hello, all Toastmasters and guests. Theme of the today's session is beating quarantine blues. As you know, cases are increasing. Lockdown is imposed in many areas. So it's natural to come fear, worries, anxiety. So question is, can you overcome? Answer is yes, you can overcome. So if you come out, clinomia state of mind, and by following proper diet, doing meditation, exercise, then definitely you can overcome. But for that, you must have disciplined life and determination. Being a parliamentarian of the today's session, I would say, should we follow same discipline, determination in our club for growing, for learning? So it is my duty to remind you something. During session, your audio should be muted, your camera should be on. Please don't do eating in front of camera. Your mobile phone should be switched off, or you can do in silent mode or vibration mode. And entry and exit of members should be allowed only when session is paused. So I will give my final report in evaluation segment. Over to Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Bhavanand. The listener today is another new member, T.M. Vedant Pradhan. Vedant is into business administration and was deeply influenced by the book, The Power of Habits by Charles Duhigg. T.M. Vedant.
Thank you, Toastmasters of the day. From the onset of COVID-19 pandemic in our country in 2020, we have spent a considerable amount of time in quarantine. I think everyone present here knows how it feels to be in this for such a long time. For the first few months, we enjoyed our leisure time with our friends, family members, playing online games, making dalgona coffee, binge watching Netflix and whatnot. But then slowly, quarantine blues started to hit us, and we became lazy, bored, low in energy, and feeling of sadness engulfed us. Because we were because of the less physical contacts. But yes, during the quarantine, there were a lot of people who made a great use and capitalized on the opportunities that they had. It means that they were all aware during the quarantine. So, to see whether you are aware during the meeting or not, this is my work for today, to listen and ask questions at the time of evaluation segment, to check the listening skills of all the members and the guests. Back to Toastmasters of the day.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Last but not the least, to take away our blues is joke master Pooja Kotecha. Pooja is an entrepreneur and has started to cook and bake. I look forward to tasting her famous momos one day. Enthusiastically participating in Toastmasters has been the highlight of Pooja's 2021. TM Pooja.
Thank you so much for a lovely introduction, TM Joy. So, so how many of you would like to know a little secret about me? I'm sure most of you don't know that. Okay, I don't see many hands up, so I think I'll shut up. Okay, I see few people interested. So, I don't have a sense of direction. I have a zero sense of direction. If I ever step out, it's very difficult for me to, even figure out where I am. So every time I book a Uber, the conversation between me and Uber driver will always be like, I get a call from Uber. Hello, madam, where are you? I'm at the location. Where are you? I'm at the location too, madam, and I can't see you. So this is the story whenever I Uber it, and somehow I still manage to get the cab most of the times. And there have been times when the driver has lost patience with me and cancelled the ride also. Unfortunate. And driving is even more tough. Like, imagine a situation when I'm driving and I see a road accident. So when I see a road accident, I don't even stop the car. Like, I know I'm not proud of saying that, but what would I do if I stop the car? Like, get down of the car and like, so just imagine, like, a lot of times I've thought about it, a situation where I'm driving, I stop the car, I see the person like in a critical situation, I try to go help him, and then I need to call the ambulance. So I call the ambulance. Hello, ambulance. There is a medical emergency. I see a major accident that has happened. Can you please come? Sure, ma'am. Where should we come? Me. After 2, 3 minutes, and there is a person who can't even talk. The person is almost dying. Can you please explain the way? So I may put myself in such weird situations. Also, my friends think I'm very spontaneous. I remember one of the incidents when we were going to Greater Kailash from Gurgaon. We just thought, and I was driving, not to forget that. I thought it'll be a nice drive. We ended up reaching GIP, like Noida, from Greater Kailash to Noida, because I took a wrong turn, and then back then there was no U-turn or any cut, and we straight away headed to Noida. And my friends thought I was quite fun and chill. Little later, they realized that I had no sense of direction. Also, I wonder sometimes, it scares me though, that if ever I have a baby in future and the baby gets kidnapped, like my concern would be not be like if I'll be able to pay the money or not pay the money. My concern will be like, how will I meet the kidnapper at a meeting point? Because I'm sure they will not call me at McDonald's or Bikaner Wala. They'll call me at some Wazirpur, Chhatarpur, and like I am not going to ask him for a WhatsApp location. So how do I reach to him? So is there anyone who can relate to me and is geographically as challenged as I am? Madam Toastmasters.
Thank you, Pooja. That was very funny. I assure you, Pooja, if your future child ever gets kidnapped and you let us know at CDTM, we will all join in to find your child and bring him or her back to you. TM Pooja, thank you so much. So let's start with the much anticipated prepared speeches. The first speaker for this round is TM Sakshi Bansal. She is attempting level 1, project 2 from the presentation mastery path. To evaluate this speech, we have Toastmaster Kashish Jain. Kashish is a university student and an avid cricketer. Being able to become an accomplished Toastmaster and a hip hop dancer are the best things that the lockdowns have done for him. I have requested Kashish to show us some of his dance moves when we meet in person next. TM Kashish, I request you to please read out the speech objectives for TM Sakshi.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Day, for inviting me. And good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Toastmaster Sakshi Bansal is delivering her level 1 project 2, pathway being presentation mastery. This is her first speech from level 1 project 2. So she is supposed to deliver a speech on any topic and receive feedbacks. Her speech title is Ways to Listen Better. Ways to Listen Better. I wish Toastmasters Sakshi Bansal all the very best. Over to you, Toastmaster Joy.
Thank you. Sakshi, like many of us, tried out several things during lockdown. Cooking, learning to play dholak, piano, tutoring underprivileged kids for free, etc. However, she is most excited about acquiring Dugu and Diggy. Dugu and Diggy, two cute little parakeets to keep her company. Please put your hands together for Toastmaster Sakshi. TM Sakshi, ways to listen better, ways to listen better, TM Sakshi. TM Sakshi, the stage is all yours.
Toastmaster Sakshi, you're on mute. Kindly unmute, then you can only speak.
Am I audible right now?
Yes, you are audible now.
We are losing our listening. We roughly spend 60% of our communication time listening, but we are not good at it. We retain 25% of what we hear. Now, not you, not this conversation, but that is something generally true. Good evening, fellow Toastmaster and welcome guest. Let's define listening as making meaning from sound. It's a mental process and a process of extraction. We use pretty cool technique to do this. One of them is pattern recognition. So,
Sakshi, you will have to unmute yourself again.
Joy, actually, I have audios in my slides. So, is that or?
Yes, please go ahead.
With this cacophony,
Toastmaster Sakshi, for your audio from the screen share, you'll have to reshare the screen with share computer audio option on.
I'm not getting you. Can you please repeat once again?
Okay, so when you're sharing the screen, you must see an option to, it's called view options on the top. And then you can see a share computer audio option, a checkbox there.
I've already done that.
Okay, so but we aren't able to hear the screen. May I request you to please go ahead with the presentation and.
Okay. Okay. No issues. So I'll start again with no audios, okay? We are losing our listening. We spend roughly 60% of our communication time listening. We spend roughly 60% of our communication time listening, but we are not good at it. We retain 25% of what we hear. Now, not you, not this conversation, but that is something generally true. Good evening, fellow Toastmaster and welcome guests. Let's define listening as making meaning from sound. It's a mental process and a process of extraction. So, first, we use pretty cool technique to do this. One of them is pattern recognition. So, in a cocktail party, if I say Ritvik, Shivangi, Kashish, please pay attention. Some of you may set up. We recognize patterns to distinguish signals from patterns, and especially a name. Differencing is another technique we use. So if I use a pink noise, say for more than a couple of minutes, you will literally cease to hear it. We listen to differences, we discount sounds that remain same. And then come the whole bunch of filters. Most people are entirely unconscious about these filters. But actually, they create a reality in a way because they tell us that what we are actually paying attention right now. Now, let me tell you one example. Intention is important in sound, in listening. When I got married, I promised my husband that I will listen to you every day as if for the first time. But that is something I fall short on a daily basis. But it is great to have intention in a relationship. But that's not all. Remember, in the starting, I said we're losing a listening. Why did I say that? Well, there are a lot of reasons for this. First, we invented ways of recording. First, writing. and then audio recording, and now we can even record videos. The premium of accurate and correct listening has simply disappeared. Second, the world is so noisy. With this cacophony going all around, auditorily and visually, it is so hard to listen and it is so tiring to pay attention to someone. In this scenario, nobody is listening to anyone. We all are becoming impatient. I don't know how much conversation is there in this, how much listening is there in this conversation, but sadly, it is common among all. We all are becoming desensitized. Our media has to scream at us with such headlines in order to get our attention, which means that it is harder to pay attention to someone who is quiet, the subtle, or underrated. Trust me, this is becoming one of the serious problems. Conscious listening helps to develop understanding, and without this, it is problematic. Imagine you're living in a world where no one is listening to everyone. It will be a scary place to live indeed. So, now I would like to share few examples which you can take along with you so that you can develop your conscious listening. Would you like that? Yes, audience?
Yes.
Okay, good. So the first one is silence. Just 3 minutes of silence every day is a wonderful exercise. It helps to reset your ears and recalibrate so that you can experience silence back again. And in case if you don't get absolute silence, go for quiet. It's absolutely fine. Second, I call this as the mixer. We all live in a noisy environment, and we all spend a lot of time in such places. So you can expect this in a place like coffee bar or in a beautiful place like in a lake. How many birds are there? Where are they? Where are those ripples? Trust me, this will help you to improve the quality of your listening. Third, I call this as the savoring. This is all about enjoying the mundane sound. For example, I have the dryer. It's a waltz. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I love it. It's the mundane sounds is all about enjoying it, but only if you pay attention to it. Finally, coming to acronym. It can be used during the time of communication and in listening. And the acronym is RASA, rasa, which is the Sanskrit word to the juice or essence. R stands for receive, which means to pay attention to the person. A stands for appreciation, making sounds like okay. O. S stands for summarization, which is an important part of the communication, and A stands for asking. Ask question afterwards. So, listening is my passion, and I live to listen. But I believe that every human should develop the habit of conscious listening so that they feel they are fully connected in time and in space to the physical world around us. Also, I think that listening should be taught in school as a skill. Listening should be taught in school as a skill. I don't know why it is not taught. It is crazy. So let's come and transform the world into the generation of a conscious listening world, a world of understanding, a world of peace, and a world of connection. Thank you for listening to me today. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Sakshi. I understand in spite of some technical difficulties, you did a wonderful job. Thank you so much. The next speaker for this round is T.M. Anchal Jain. She is attempting level 2, project 1 from the dynamic leadership path. To evaluate this speech, we have Toastmaster Rashmi Sikri. Rashmi is a teacher by profession and asserts that the lockdowns have been a blessing in disguise for her. She was able to rekindle her passion for painting and now has several canvases adorning her beautiful home. TM Rashmi, I request you to please read out the speech objectives for TM Archer. Toastmaster Rashmi.
I believe Toastmaster Rashmi is facing some network issue. I may request Toastmaster Ritvik to please take this up. Toastmaster Ritvik? All
audible?
Yes, you are. Please go ahead.
Sorry for the internet glitch. So, hello Toastmasters and guests. Today we have TM Achal J giving her L2P1 speech with the project title Understanding Your Leadership Style with the pathway Dynamic Leadership, and the project objective being to identify her leadership style and share some of her primary leadership styles so as to give a discussion on leadership styles in general. Timer, please note the green card has to be shown at the end of 5 minutes. You're looking at the end of 6 minutes, and red card at the end of 7 minutes. I wish TM Achal all the very best, and I hope she puts the stage on fire. Over to the team. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ritvik. Achal is a chartered accountant. She is thrilled to have finished reading her first book recently. The crowning glory of her pandemic planning has been to finally join and wholeheartedly get involved with Toastmasters. Please help me welcome her to the spotlight. TM Achal, leaders are made, not born. Leaders are made, not born. TM Achal.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Joy. How many of you think that? How many of you already know that there are huge variety of leadership styles before joining Toastmasters? I believe not many. So I am here today to tell you about a few of them. So the first one is coaching. This leadership style helps individuals realize their true potential. In order to motivate that individual, a task or a challenge is put in front of that individual. Now, second one is altruistic. This leadership style focuses on active listening, commitment, and empathy. Third one is innovative. In this type of leadership style, innovative ideas are welcome. And fourth one is bureaucratic. This leadership style is based on the rules which needs to be followed. However, this is ineffective when leading a group of people or individuals with high skills. So, felt boring, don't you? Me too. Okay, let's leave this one. Okay, let me ask you a question. What do you think about this? Do you think leaders are made and not born? Don't you agree with this? Yes. So what are the various traits found in effective leaders? First one is clear vision. Not only they are aware of where they want to go, how to reach there, but they also know what success looks like. And they also know how to articulate their vision clearly and effectively and with enthusiasm. Second one is lead by example. How? Once in a beautiful village, there lived a boy with his parents. This boy was quite addicted to eating sugar. His mother warned him not to take so much sugar because it is not good for his health. But he would never listen to his mother. One day, his mother thought, why not to visit Guruji in his ashram and ask for help? So they decided to go, which was the ashram was a few miles away from her home. They both went to Guruji. And the mother asked Guruji, Guruji, please ask my son not to eat too much sugar because it is not good for his health. But he never listens to me. Guruji said, I cannot say him this time. But you can bring him next time. I will talk to him then. The woman was quite depressed, but she has no other option. She went back to her home. A month later, she and her son again visited Guruji in his ashram. This time, Guruji looked at this boy and said, boy, your mother is really worried about you. You should stop taking too much sugar. It is not good for your health. The boy agreed and he promised not to take too much sugar. This mother, with confused state of mind, she asked Guruji, why don't you ask him to quit sugar for the first time when I approached you? Guruji smiled and said, when you last visited, I too had the habit of taking too much sugar. So the moral of the story here is, if you want to be a good leader, who needs to be followed, then you should set an example. You should lead by example for things that you want others to follow. Now moving on to the third trait of leadership. Third one is never quit. Don't lose hope, never quit. A group of tradesmen were moving from one place to another to sell their goods. During the course of travel, they came across a desert which was very hot. The leader of the group got to know from the people nearby that this place can't be traveled during the day because the heat of the sun warms up the sand so much that even the camels cannot travel. So it was decided that they will travel during the night. A guide was hired to lead them to cross the desert during the night. So on the very first day, the guide was moving and the other tradesmen were leading. The guide was leading them and the other tradesmen were following the guide in their respective caravan. One day, when one night they have crossed almost 3/4 of the journey, the guide, and it was the last day. It was the last day to be traveled. They started to go again to complete the journey. In the midway, the guide thought that we have almost crossed all the time, but just few hours are left. Why not to take rest? So he sat and went sleep. During the night, the camel traveled, take a U-turn, and he started to go. The owner was not aware of that. During the sunset, when the sun grew up, when the sun grew up, they all realized that they have already came back to the last place where they have started their last journey. They all went depressed. The other tradesmen got angry as they had not sufficient water to cross the remaining part of the desert. They started blaming the leader and the guide because they don't have sufficient water. But the leader thought, I can't lose my courage now. I had to act now. He started searching here and there, and soon he found a bunch of grass. He was quite sure that the grass cannot survive without water. He took the help of other tradesmen to dig this grass as there is possibility of water there. They all started digging and found a big rock there. They all again went angry. They said to leader, you have wasted our time, our energy, as we cannot break this rock. This leader replied, you can't lose courage now because losing courage will lead to death. So we have to act now. He called the strongest man in the group to help him. The strongest man gathered all his courage, strength, and he took a hammer and put a smash on the rock. The rock broke down and water poured out it. So all were happy. So the lesson here is never lose hope. Taking tough decisions at tough time is the quality of leader. What do you say, Toastmaster? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Achal. I don't know whether you were born a leader or not, but you are certainly working your way up to become a great leader. The last speaker in the prepared section is Toastmaster Zubair. To evaluate his speech, we have the privilege of having distinguished Toastmaster Deepak Menon. Deepak is a chartered accountant and past president of Toastmasters International. His passion for the organization's mission is an inspiration to many. He has focused on his physical fitness with regular exercise routine. DTM Deepak, I request you to please read out the speech objectives for TM Zubair.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, dear guests, I am not guilty of crime. Now, what is that word of the day? Can anybody tell me? Clinomania, right? So I am not guilty of clinomania. But even if I were a clinomaniac, I would still have been here today for Zubair's speech evaluation. Nothing could have kept me away. Yes, indeed. Today, Zubair, the speaker, is going to be presenting a speech from Project 3 of Level 2 of Presentation Mastery. And this speech, this project is Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring. Now, what is Zubair going to be doing in this speech? He is going to be sharing with us some aspects of his previous experience as a prodigy. Aren't you all excited to hear Zubair? Now, I would have also introduced to you the title of his speech, but it's got 31 words in it. So I'm going to leave it to Mr. Toastmaster to introduce the title of the speech. Over to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, DTM Deepak. Thank you for the innovative use of the word clinomania. I too find it hard to go through the entire title, but let me introduce Zubair. Zubair studies economics and has spent time watching vintage Indian movies and actor interviews during the lockdown. Zubair is trying hard to detach himself from the bad habit of overthinking and overanalyzing. A very warm welcome to the virtual stage, TM Zubair, our Toastmasters mentors, our Toastmasters mentors, T.M. Zubair.
I was in constant pressure from VP Education to shorten my title. But do you think it is even possible on earth to bring such huge personality into mere words? Mentors. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. So, going with the tradition, let's start with the elders of our club, DTM Deepak Menon. This was the first contact I saved on my phone, and I received a long, warm welcome message from his side. To be honest, I never contacted him for any kind of mentoring or suggestion, but it is the power of those messages he put just after your speech. Those messages are so valuable to me that as soon as I receive them, I keep a screenshot of them and try to implement in my further speeches. Thank you, Deepak sir. When I came when I came to CDTM, I used to think that my smile is the most horrible thing that I can give to you guys. Then came an evaluation from TM Rashmi. You have such a beautiful smile. Please smile often. And I thought, okay, let's give it a try. And then came the day of my secret Santa. It stated that with your smile, you bring out a positive energy and everyone feel connected. Can my secret Santa give a quick yes?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, TM Rashmi, for giving me my smile. Next, if you all remember TM Rashmi's speech, she mentioned TM Karanveer as her mentor, and TM Karanveer openly admitted that he was blushing. TM Karanveer, you are my mentor. Smile as bright as you can. Okay, jokes apart. Although after Roastmasters, I have parted way from jokes. But TM Karanveer is that chat box who replies typically in a minute. As soon as you ping him, he quickly reverts back with a message. Haan ji bhai batao. Yes, brother, tell me your query. TM Karanveer helped me in my first speech, my first auxiliary role, and in my first evaluation. His recommendations are always valuable for me. Thank you, TM Karanveer. Next is my allotted mentor, TM Gursifat. The biggest mistake of my life, not contacting her earlier and not recognizing her talent and experience. I'm pretty sure if I could have utilized her talent earlier, my speech would have done wonders in no time. But still, her support has been constant and her valuations are really valuable for me. Thank you, Team Gursifat. Next is our ex-president, TM Shivangi. TM Shivangi, today I have to confess one thing. Every time you asked for a dry run, I wasn't busy. I was just too shy and underconfident for a dry run. But her recommendation of voice modulation was the key reason I was chosen as the best in my second speech. And the same case is with TM Simran. TM Simran has also been a key part in my Toastmaster journey. Thank you, TM Shivangi and TM Simran. Now are my three musketeers, TM Sanchit, TM Samkit, and TM Darshan. Their way of recommendation is quite unique. First, they mock the flaws in my speech, and then they will tell me how things could have gone better. But conversation with them not only helped in my speeches, but also in my life and in my career. Thank you, my three musketeers. Somebody's mistake can be a lesson for somebody else. And here are some of my mistakes. When you enter CDTM, you like to be in your cocoon, and that's the reason you're allotted a mentor. Your mentor is one of the most experienced and finest speaker in the club. Open up to your mentor, ask for recommendation until you open up to others. Next, when you are not given a speaking role, show up, listen to other speakers, listen to their content, and look at their delivery part. Act as an evaluator behind the scene. Next, Try to visit different Toastmasters club. Try to perform among different kind of audience. When you perform among different people, you are more prone to uncomfortability. And last, try to make the utmost use of the recorded lectures on YouTube. Okay, I agree. First few views goes like this, you shying away from yourself, but then the real analysis start. Point out your mistakes and leverage the power of internet and YouTube to fix those mistakes. Now, let's take it outside the Toastmaster, the person I admire the most. She is my history teacher from class 8. Her name is Alpana Singh. History was among my least favorite subject, and what I like about her is her passion for teaching. What she used to do is she used to ask us to close the books, and then she used to narrate the chapters as if she have witnessed those events. She used to share life hacks and, most importantly, how to be a better person. She always used to say that our education will always be reflected in our behavior. What I want is that kind of passion for my work. Now, I collect all your valuable lessons and bestow my gratitude to all my mentors. Thank you. Back to TMOD Joydeep.
Thank you, Zubair, for this inspiring speech. You did a great job. Thank you for the recognition you gave to the elders in the club. Well, this brings us to the end of the prepared speeches part of today's meeting. Tech Master, please launch the ballots for the best speaker. Tech Master.
Yeah, the polls are on the screen now. You will be given the 15 seconds to vote, so please vote quickly.
Please go ahead and make it quick so that we can move on.
Okay, still 10 members still remaining. Vote quickly, don't be a Clamonania. I'm sorry, I'm not able to pronounce the word correctly. Okay, 5 more seconds and we are done. Thank you.
Thank you, Tech Master. Well, I told a coronavirus joke 2 years ago. Nobody laughed then, but eventually everyone got it. I will repeat. I told a coronavirus joke 2 years ago. Nobody laughed then, but eventually everyone got it. Stuck at home for extended periods of time can cause clinomania to set in, especially on chilly winter mornings such as today. It is important to have a routine to stick to in order to avoid boredom that can sometimes turn to hopelessness. Unchecked, this can lead to anxiety or even depression. Setting time aside for positive affirmations and meditative practices can dramatically improve our emotional well-being. We now move on to the second part of the meeting to provide us with the challenge for today's table topics round. We have Toastmaster Navya Niti Makkar. The responsibility of evaluating the table topic speakers falls today on TM Pravati Jain. Pravati is a businesswoman and a coffee connoisseur. She has started baking, gardening, and has set an impressive goal of reading one book a month. You will get to meet her later in the meeting in the evaluation section. TM Navya regrets how the pandemic upended the most anticipated last year of high school for her and her friends. She found novel ways of connecting and engaging with people while maintaining physical distance. She has promised to teach me and other tech challenged club members how to play Ludo online someday. please join me in welcoming the table topic master for the day, TM Navya.
Thank you, TM Joy. Good evening, everyone. Here comes an interesting segment. Do you find impromptu speaking difficult? Are you articulate in giving prepared speeches but struggle to think on your feet? Many people find this hard, even when you have plenty to say. Organizing into something coherent can be challenging with no time to prepare. So, a simple key to accomplish this skill is to start speaking. In fact, start it today itself, right now, right here. Now, you must be wondering how are we going to do it? If you are a Toastmaster member, you'll have plenty of opportunities to practice this skill. One such session is a table topic session that happens in every meeting. This segment is specially for the guests and TMs with no role. I'll be giving you a topic and you have to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. The timing structure for this segment is as follows. The green card would be shown at 1 minute, the yellow one at 1 minute 30 seconds, and the red card at 2 minutes, with a buffer time of 30 seconds on the upper side, which means to qualify for the best speaker, they should speak for at least 1 minute. So let's start. We can have an experienced Toastmaster as the first speaker so that the guests can understand. Anyone? TM Pooja? Okay, so let's go with TM Ritvik. Are you ready?
Very audible now?
Yes, you're audible.
Sure.
So let's have our first speaker, TM Ritvik. If I wish I were dash, I wish I were TM Ritvik.
I wish I were a tribal in islands in this huge civilization having so many skyscrapers. I believe it's the best way to be a tribal. Sorry for the network glitch, so I great way of English communication, having luxury cars, living in flashy buildings, going to flashy hotels, and always keeping up a fake smile, putting up a status on the Instagram that you are really happy. But ask this question to yourselves. Are you really, really happy? Maybe the answer is no in the most of the cases. And if the answer is no, then ask what is the reason? For me, it's materialism. For me, it's that I want to escape this world, this so-called civilization, where at the click of a button, a whole city is demolished by a bomb, which is called civilization. At the click of a WhatsApp story, we go on to lynch, beat our neighbors, get offended. I want to escape this society. I want to be reborn, if rebirth is something true, in the next birth as a tribal in the Sentinel's Islands, maybe uncivilized in the eyes of so-called materialistic world, maybe wearing not Gucci or Louis Vuitton dresses, but maybe leather or leaves to as an attire. But I know I will be happy. I know I will be satisfied with my life. I know I will cry at the death of my relatives and joy when they are happy. I know I will share the happiness and sadness far, far away from this mundane world. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ritvik. So who's next? Any guests? Come on, who's next? Guest Nikhil? Guest Mamta? Anyone?
Yeah, hi.
Oh, hi, great. Guest Mamta, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So guest Mamta, introverts versus extroverts. Introverts versus extroverts, guest Mamta.
Introverts versus extroverts, right? So introverts basically, according to my definition, I feel like introverts are the people who have very small set of friends, and like they would share a lot of things to only to them, like 1-2 people. But like extroverts have a lot of set, like they have a lot of friends, like 10-12 friends. They hang out with people all the time, but like they really don't have anyone to share their like very good feel, like when they're sad or something. They don't have like good people to share with them. And so more on introverts is like they would tend to stay in room rather than like going out and meeting people. Extroverts, they would always be out of the room, and they would be like talking to people, getting to know a lot of stories and exploring a lot of things. Introverts, the introverts are also exploring a lot of things, but within laptops and like within screens. And extroverts, that's all I got.
Great. Thank you, guest Mamta. It was lovely hearing you.
Thank you, Navya.
Okay, so who's next? Since we are short of time, we'll just have one more topic. So any guest? I can see guest Karthik. Great. So guest Karthik, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Guest Karthik.
Yeah, so beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So it's a true statement, right? The way you look at things is how it appears. So different people have a different way of looking at things. So what you find beautiful can be, a bad thing for others, or what someone else finds good or beautiful can be, a bad thing for you. So there is a different way to look at things, and that is a very beautiful statement. And it all depends on how you think and how look at things around you. So no matter how a situation is, people look at it in different way. People have different ideology to perceive things. So if something, if someone comes in front of you and schools you, most of us, they will go back at that person. But if you ask them, if you go to a mystic or someone who's a monk and you do the same thing, they will be like, they will respond in a different way. So it is all about how you view things and how you perceive the things which happens in front of you. So yeah, that's what my perception is. And so all of us have to look at life in a way which is beautiful. So no matter what the situation is, no matter where we are put into, we should always try to see the good things coming out of that situation. If we are going forward to look that in every stage of life, everything will appear as beautiful to us. That is what is the most important thing. Perception. It's all about perception and how you perceive. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, guest Karthik. Well, it did not seem an impromptu speech. It was like a prepared speech. Thank you very much. So kudos to all the participants for their active participation. Since we are short of time, so we just had 3 speakers. Now I would like request the tech masters to kindly release the polls for the best impromptu speaker.
Yeah, just give me 10 seconds. I'll do that. So the polls are on the screen. You'll be given 15 seconds to vote. So vote quickly as soon as possible so that we can move ahead with the meeting. We are not already getting too late. 5 members are still remaining to vote. Vote quickly. Okay, so we are getting a majority. 5 more seconds. And we are done. Thank you.
Thank you, Tech Master. So the votes are in. Thank you, everyone. And I hope you all are prepared next time if you face such a situation. So with this, I sign off. Back to TMOD. Thank you.
Thank you, Navya. Virtual meetings were virtually unknown to me before the pandemic. I used to get a lot of laughs telling jokes in person. But on Zoom, they tell me that I am not remotely funny. Bad diet and clinomania can disrupt many a New Year's resolutions. This is especially so during uncertain times of curfews and restaurant closures. I am encouraged to see so many fellow Toastmasters learn to cook and bake for themselves. Please plan ahead to have ready access to fresh fruits and vegetables. Cut back on refined sugar as much as possible and try to control portion sizes. In this final segment of our meeting today, constructive feedback is given to each speaker as well as to the overall meeting conduct so that members can benefit from the experience of evaluators. For this, we bring on the general evaluator, Toastmaster Ankit Sinha. Ankit is a corporate consultant. During the lockdown, he challenged himself to watch Hollywood movies in English instead of the dubbed version in Hindi. When I get a chance, I intend to ask him to say some original George Clooney dialogues to me. Now I hand over the session to General Evaluator of the Day, Toastmaster Ankit.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. Friends, pandemic, lockdown has changed the whole game. Last March 2020, today January 2022. So many things have changed. Our understanding have changed. I have learned 3 major things. What are these? First, we need to upgrade our skills. Not that upgrade, only upgrade our skills. We need to learn new things. And third thing is that health has become the priority. Friends, now the time is there that survival of the fittest. If you are fit and fine, then only you can pass this lockdown period. And how fit and fine you are in this communication journey, I have a team to judge. Team have many players. Since we are running short of time, already around 12 to 30 minutes late in this segment. So straight away, I'm going to call my first set of evaluators. First evaluator is Toastmaster Kashish Jain, who is going to evaluate Toastmaster Sakshi's speech. Toastmaster Kashish, stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator, for calling up me on the stage. Good evening, everyone, once again, and a special good evening to Toastmasters Sakshi. The ways to listen better. The topic which needed a spotlight, and the speaker, Toastmaster Sakshi, came up on this topic with a very good speech. Now, coming quickly on the commendation part. The first thing I liked about Toastmaster Sakshi's speech was the persona. And I would like to grab the attention of all of us that whenever we are delivering anything, please take up the persona. Are we delivering an educational session? Are we delivering a normal speech? Are we delivering a humorous speech, sales presentation? What are we doing? So the best I could catch up was that Toastmasters Sakshi was giving an educational speech. She started with the stats, the hearing stats. Then she came up on the importance of learning. Then she told us then at what time we could listen more, and one time we listen less. And then she ended up by telling us the ways
Toastmaster Kashish, you are not audible.
very well.
Yeah. Go on. Please go on.
And the third thing which I would like to say is that I'm confused, Toastmaster Sakshi. Should I call you Toastmaster Sakshi or the fighter Toastmaster Sakshi? Because despite of all those glitches, you came up with the fighter killing insight with you, and you continued your speech with a very good ending. Now, as in Toastmasters, we share recommendations which will help us to improve. The first recommendation which I would like to give you is that thus you were very well prepared with those slides, you maintained all those things, but somewhere you were unable to handle those glitches. So I would give you a recommendation that when you are sharing all those screen share things, then try to give a dry run, which will help you in the further meetings also. Then the second recommendation which I would like to give you is that the examples you gave were very good. The ways how could we listen better, but somewhere we could not catch it clearly. You could have put some more time on that, which will make it more clear. Then the third recommendation which I would like to give you is that though it was an interactive speech, once you asked a question, but somewhere I thought that it lacked interaction. You were not able to make interaction throughout the meeting. Try to think that you are giving a speech to the audience, you are talking to them, all are listening to you. Concluding, the fighter Sakshi delivered a very good speech, which made us learn a lot and the importance of listening. With all those recommendations, you will put a step ahead and give proper speeches and a very good speeches. All the very best to you. Over to you, Toastmaster Joy.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Kashish. It's time to welcome our next evaluator, that is Toastmaster Ritik, to evaluate Toastmaster Achal Jain. Toastmaster Ritik, stage is all yours.
Thank you for the recognition. Never lose hope. Wow, it was among those few quotes that she mentioned in her speech to give an impetus to what she meant. And really, we got this message. Not only in motivational quotes, but also voice modulation, hand movements. I believe are the reason why it added impetus to her speech. For example, while she was mentioning, so felt boring, she take her hands. So let's have this thing. How to reach there, how success looks like. His mother warned him not to take sugar. This hand movements at certain places that where she used, and also adjusting her voice, pace, and power at certain moments gave icing on a cake. I believe the way she mentioned this particular quote, the woman has quite depressed. The voice is lowered down. The hands move out. So these are the way you add imagery to your speeches to give a better experience of what you mean to convey. Not only that, she asked a question in her speech. Wow, what a way to bring out that audience awareness. That's how you give a speech. That's how you create an impact. Kudos to you on that. Love the way you took this speech forward. Not only that, I believe I have some recommendations for her to make her speech better the next time. I felt a bit of nervousness in her speech due to the fact she was moving her eyes away from the camera, which is a sign of nervousness, and also referring to her notes, which was clearly visible. Maybe you can do it very implicitly so as to not do it explicitly so others to understand that you are actually looking at the notes. When you are mentioning the type of speeches, maybe you could have showed your fingers to give an emphasis on the number of types of speeches, types of leadership you are talking about. So that is actually very good if you mention that. Moreover, at times during the role play, you have played the role of Guruji. Maybe if you had played the role of the boy also and made it sideways, it would have been way better. Not only that, at certain points, I believe you had to put up your voice, but you didn't. We have a now. You actually basically voiced down. So you could have put the voice up. Don't lose hope, never quit. This can be done by increasing the voice pitch. For example, don't lose hope, never quit. That is how you could have done it. So maybe taking out that clinomania and getting some inspiration from my recommendations today, you'll go forward. And to summarize, great hand movements, voice modulation, way better audience awareness from before, recommendations toward being better preparedness, better role play, never to stop in between, better eye contact will make this speech way better the next time. Kudos to you on that. All the best for the next speeches. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for the network glitches.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ritik. It's time to welcome our distinguished Toastmaster Deepak Manesar on stage. Please welcome.
My mentors are my inspiration. Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, dear guests, and Zubair in particular. Thank you to Zubair for reminding us to acknowledge our mentors and give our gratitude to them. Indeed, this was a speech which reminded us how meaningful is the work that the mentors do to help us enhance our skills, to enhance our life per se. Thank you very much, Zubair, for meeting the project objectives. The objectives were to talk about your experience as a prodigy, and that clearly was done by Toastmaster Zubair very effectively in this speech today. So kudos to you. How did Zubair manage to accomplish all that he was required to do today? He had a very well-structured speech. He brought in some humor as he started off by talking about that 31-word long title of a speech, which he then was able to shorten down, as was explained by our Toastmaster of the day. But from then on, he talked about all the mentors he has experienced in Toastmasters and that mentor outside Toastmaster. Good job there. Kudos to you. He then was able to also engage us because he was talking about people that we all know about in this club. Of course, our guests perhaps are not aware of them, but we as members are aware of all these members that he spoke of. And we know them personally. And so therefore, we were able to relate to them. And that was a great job done. I loved the use of the words, the vocabulary that he had. But the best thing really was his confidence. I have seen Zubair grow over a period of time since he's joined Toastmasters. Fabulous work, Zubair. Well done. Now, Zubair had asked me to look for vocal variety in his speech. I did notice that he had good variety in terms of his tone, his pitch. The only thing that I would like him to do, to work on, is his delivery. I noticed that he has a very staccato kind of a delivery. You know, it's like firing shots from a rifle. So he, for instance, said, when you entered the club, you are provided a mentor. Next, try to do something different by going to different Toastmasters clubs. So that's the way he delivers his speech. I would suggest for him to make his delivery more smooth by saying, well, when you enter the club, you are provided a mentor and you can make the most of it by going to different Toastmasters clubs. So try to make your speech more smooth without having it staccato. The other thing that I noticed was his eye contact. I thought that the eye contact was great with the camera, but the camera needed to be raised to eye level rather than his looking down at the camera. Overall, this was a wonderful speech. I enjoyed it, and I now know it's best to acknowledge my mentors. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Deepak Menon sir. It's friends, everyone require evaluation. No matter whether the speech was prepared or not prepared. So it's time to call our table topic evaluator, Toastmaster Pragati, who is all set to present the evaluation. Pragati, stage is all yours.
Good evening, Toastmasters.
Good evening.
TM Navya, she gave the others hit the home run. She managed her job so beautifully. She was so clear, loud throughout. And I'm sure all of us could relate to the topics pretty well. The topics were quite relatable. Her body language was quite positive. The message she conveyed on this platform, so nicely put, right here, right now. Just do it. Start speaking. Remove all your fears. That's what she did today. She did a fantastic job, I must say. One recommendation would be like we could see that she was reading from somewhere, so that could have been avoided. And at the end, we enjoyed a session completely throughout, looking out for more. Hope you reach more heights with improved practices. Now coming to next, Team Ritwik. I wish I were, as usual, too honest, too good. I actually feel I envy Ritwik? Sometimes, yes. And the speech was so honest. Everyone could relate to it. Ki, okay, like in some point in time, they must have also felt the same. That ki, okay, let's go from here. Let's go from this world. Let's go to another planet or whatsoever. Like escaping the civilization he talked about. Everything was so great and relatable. Eye contact, body language. He's Mr. Perfect, I guess. One thing to recommend to him, he always has network issues. So you may keep a check on that. Wishing the best for everything as a role in the CDTM. Keep inspiring Ritwik. Next guest, Mamta, introvert versus extrovert. I should congratulate her for actively taking part in the table topics session. Ask me, it actually takes a courage for the first timer or for the beginner to actually speak in front of, so many people. So kudos to you, Mamta. You did a fantastic job and you actually managed to make a difference between introvert versus extrovert. One recommendation to you would have been avoided the word or the use of word like, repetition of the word like. And at the end, I take this opportunity to thank you and looking forward to have more sessions with you. Now, our guest, I'm sorry, I'm stuck somewhere. The guest, Karthik. Beauty is in the eyes of beholder. As Navya rightly mentioned, that it wasn't looking like a instant speech, impromptu speech. It was looking like a prepared session or a prepared speech. Excellent delivery, could connect the audience well, and so much of positivity he was throwing in. The message was loud and clear. It was all about the way you look at things, you perceive at things, you take things. So this communication was absolutely clear. One recommendation to him would be that the speaker could have avoided the use, the vocal variety, he could have used a bit more. And at the end, I enjoyed listening to him as well. So I conclude my evaluation here. Over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Pragati. Tech Master, may I request, can we launch the polls?
Yes, the polls are on the screen now.
Our Tech Master is very fast.
Yes.
All the 4 evaluators are on your screen. So you can choose whom you think is the best one. I have chosen mine. So please.
And do that very quickly. Don't be a clinomaniac. I'm sorry, I'm still not getting that word. Okay, so we are getting a majority. That's it. I'm closing the polls now.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Darshan. It's time to call our auxiliary role player to present their report. So our first role player is Toastmaster Spashita playing timer for the day. Please welcome her.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. So my report is here. Also, in the prepared speeches segment, TM Sakshi took 7 minutes and 30 seconds. TM Achal took 8 minutes and 30 seconds, crossing the upper time limit. TM Zubair took 6 minutes and 26 seconds. In the table topic session, TM Ritik took 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Guest Mamta took 1 minute and 22 seconds. And guest Karthik took 1 minute and 37 seconds. In the last segment of speech evaluation, TM Kashish took 3 minutes and 36 seconds, crossing the upper time limit by a little margin. TM Ritik took 3 minutes and 13 seconds, and TM Deepak took 3 minutes and 28 seconds. With this, I'm done with my report. Thank you so much. Back to GE.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Spashita, for a brief report. It's time to welcome our language evaluator, Toastmaster Abhishek Singh on stage. Toastmaster Abhishek, stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator. I'm back here with my evaluation. Learning a new vocabulary is a very important skill, and it enhances your speaking skills and your language development and also your occupational development. The word of the day was used 9 times. Keep up the good work. It is highly appreciated. I've noted some good usages. Words like leisure time, spontaneous, leverage, altruistic, avid cricketer, adorning, thrilled, articulate, perceptions were used. And good phrases like sense of direction, not to forget that, as challenged as I am, blessing in disguise, crowning glory of her pandemic life were used. I've also noted the not so good usages. I'm sorry if I'll be harsh in this, but I've clearly noted this. The listener used a phrase slowly. You could instead use gradually for that. Then comes TM Zubair. He used such huge personality. You could have used such a huge personality. The next usage was came the day. You should have used comes the day. Then a mispronunciation was made for bestowed as bestowed. So you can check on that. Then it was TM Sakshi who used general fellow Toastmaster and welcome guests. You could have first you could have first said welcome dear guest and good evening everyone. The next usage is and then come. You could have used and then came. The next is no one is listening to everyone. Instead of everyone, you should have used anyone. Then it is TM Achal Jain. She used huge variety of leadership styles. You could have used many varieties instead of huge. Then the next usage is not only they are aware of. For that, you could have used not only are they aware of. The next usage is why not to visit his Guruji. Instead, you could say why not visit his Guruji. Then next usage is why don't you said him last time. You could have said why didn't you say him last time. The next usage is one night they have crossed almost 3/4 of the journey. You could have used they have crossed almost 3/4 of the journey in one night. Guest Karthik said things coming out of the situation. You could have used things emerging out of the situation. That was the report. The mode of communication was English. There was one use of Hindi phrase, but it was translated into English. Lastly, I would say that try to use the word of the day more often in your communication to enhance it. Thank you, everyone. Back to the general evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Abhishek. Please welcome our tech master / accountant, Toastmaster Darshan.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, for inviting me. So we have to be very quick in the report, so I'll be quick then. So I'm back with my report as an R counter. It's so starting with the speakers, that is Toastmaster Sakshi used a few hours. There were few hours and a few short pauses was that. Toastmaster Anchal used few starters, even I'm using that. Toastmaster Zubair was fluent, absolutely fluent. And then come to the table topic speakers, Toastmaster Ritvik, he was absolutely fluent. And then guest Mamta used just one and the guest Karthik, there were few R's and ums, but overall he was absolutely fluent. And then come the evaluators, everyone was fluent in that. Toastmaster Kashish, Toastmaster Ritvik, Toastmaster Deepak sir, and Toastmaster Pragati, she was also very fluent. So why this happens as an R counter, why this happens, like there are some filler words, arms. Well, I'm not here to point out your mistakes. I'm here to that you should improve yourself. And by improve yourself, not just by writing your speech. You know, you have written your speech and you just want to speak out in front of everyone. So to do that, rehearse yourself. Okay, so bring on your family members and ask them that I'm going to speak on that day. So now I have to practice. You know, practicing alone is a very different thing in practicing in front of few of the peoples. Like you can arrange few of the people and ask them to, like, I'm giving the speech, so listen to me. Okay, so that how you can rehearse yourself and you can find some of the things that is missing in that, or you are using the filler words, or like stopping, stuttering, stammering, everything will be removed. Okay, then we have some YouTube videos. You can evaluate yourself after giving the speech. You go on to the YouTube, check out your videos. Okay, take that as a knowledge, take that as an you want to take that as an evaluation or something like that, but go on and check out the YouTube videos. Okay, I'm not here to just point out your mistakes, but try to improve. So yeah, that's it from my side. Back to Mr. Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Darshan. It's time to welcome to find out rather how disciplined we are, our parliamentarian Toastmaster Bhavanand Jha. Please welcome him.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
My observation is there were 22 participants at 7:15 and few cameras were off. I would like to say no one became great personality without dedication and discipline. So this is my humble request. Could we join few minutes earlier, and if it is possible, we can keep our camera on during session. And overall, this was breaking off clonomania state of mind. Over to TM. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Bhavanand Jha. It's time to welcome our listener for the day, who is going to check whether we are actually listening or not. So please welcome Toastmaster Vedant on stage.
Thank you. Thank you, General Evaluator. So my first question is, how much percent we retain what we hear? I will repeat, how much percent we retain what we hear? Those who know the answer, just raise your hand virtually, and then you can speak up. No, Toastmaster of the Day Joy, 60 is not the right answer. Anyone else? Okay, guest Jasmine, you can go ahead.
It's 25%.
Yeah. Well, right, it's correct. And okay, so moving on to the next question. Losing courage leads to what? Losing courage leads to what? Anyone who knows the answer can speak up. Anyone from the guest panel or from the Toastmasters community? Okay, so yeah, death. Guest Mamta has told it has given the right answer, and I will keep it short. My last question is, who are the three mosquitoes as told by Zubair? Who are the three musketeers as told by Zubair? Okay, so we have Tech Master R Counter. Sir, you can go on.
I want Navya to answer that because it includes me.
It's TM Darshan, TM
Sanchit and PM Samkit.
Okay, well, that's a right answer. And back to you, general evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vedant. Tech Master, can we launch the poll, please? We have 6 contenders.
Yes, we are launching it.
Yeah. By the time Tech Master is launching poll, you may think about the person whom you are going to vote.
Okay, it's on the.
I am voting. Yes, I have voted. Please do vote. Our Tech Master is very strict, so he's going to close the polls very soon.
Very, very strict.
Very strict.
In fact, as an R counter, I only had a few arms as to vote as to go in fact in the meeting so quickly. So I used so many arms. So I'm sorry for that. I just couldn't get my report also.
Thank you so much. Are we done with the polls?
Just 3 members remaining. So vote quickly as soon as possible. You will just win 5 more seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Closing the polls now.
Thank you so much. So my favorite segment in which I can share my views on the different roles that have been performed in the meeting today. So let's begin from the beginning, from Sajani at arms. Toastmaster Navya, she was very confident. I believe that she is doing this role, I believe, second time. She is a newly elected SAA and she has performed really well. Just one small piece of advice is just adjustment of camera. When she started, her head was not fully visible. She was very close to the camera, so she may take care about this thing. So that would be a bit better. Otherwise, rest is fine. Next is a presidential address. Our president is, as usual, very confident. Pleasing personality, smiling face, and so many good words also. So a good combination. Though he is a newly elected president, but he didn't forget the 30-second for world peace thing. Even the experienced persons just forget this thing that for the 30-second thing, but he didn't miss that thing. Afterward, he started with a question. Again, good job. When you don't have many things to say, just involve the audience. Did it right. And what I really liked is when he presented the 14 peaks thing. Even I didn't know about this 14 peak thing, but he explained this thing in brief, then involved everyone. So that is an intelligent piece. Next thing is that just a small piece of advice is that when he was recollecting a particular thing, then his eyeballs were moving to the left side. When he was natural, then his whole body was speaking. So just little bit of more preparation can help him out. Otherwise, well done. Moving on to our next person, rest role play, that is TMOD, Toastmaster Joy. As expected, so many good things were there. Time is short, I cannot count them, just going to point out few. I love the use of prop. I haven't seen any person using of mask in that way. Just message with a mask and that too in an impactful manner. Great job. I love the presence of mind when he was on mute and our president reminded him that you are on mute, then he incorporated that thing as also very well. Next is that some piece of advice. Most important advice is that TMOD is the main person who keeps check on time, and when we are running short of time, then its onus is on TMOD just to cut short his part. But I don't find that he has made any conscious effort to do the same. So even I have noticed this thing in case of table topic segment master. She culted her segment, just finished this in 9 minutes. So I believe some piece of working in this timing front, and not only TMOD, every one of us, not only for at the time of report, at the time of introduction as well. Everything is mentioned. Our EC is very sharp. 1 minute, 1.5 minute, 2 minutes, everything is mentioned. But I don't know whether we see or not. We need to see. We need to find out. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been that much late. It's 9:14 and the meeting is still on. We should have wound up this thing. Next to our auxiliary role players,
That's timer Spashita Verma. She presented the timer cards in a very good manner. Just everything was clearly mentioned, the properly highlighted, then the timelines, the colors, everything was mentioned. She gave a demo also in the introduction parts. Job well done. And just one small piece of advice is that we don't need to present the Excel sheet every time. Even if we are presenting, that Excel sheet fonts need to be a bold one. Rather, in the report time, it had 5 columns and so many rows were there. So if a person is seeing from the mobile, it's difficult to read. So either we can skip, or if it is there, it should be very bold letters so any person can read it out. Next is language evaluator, Toastmaster Abhishek Singh. Toastmaster Abhishek just presented the introduction part very well. Report part also, again, just a small piece of advice, since we were running short of time, so he could have cut short his report. And one more piece of advice is that it's good that we incorporate theme in our intro, but the main thing needs to be the main thing. What is our role? We need to specify it for every person, not only the LE, but for everyone. Say if you are going to incorporate this thing, your theme in your introduction part, just 30 seconds, 35 seconds. Rest is your introduction only, not the theme. Theme for this TMOD is there. Next is our counter. For the counter, I do not have any observation. He has just experimented his role very unique way. So many learning from me as well. Just for our counter side, just he was so much using okay word. So okay word was a repetitive one. Next is parliamentarian Toastmaster Bhavanand Jha. I believe that since I believe he was presenting his role first time. So good job. He tried to cover all the things. Small piece of advice is that since we have very short time, we need to be very quick. We need to print so many things in a very short span of time, and we need to be so much energetic as well. Preparation is also needed. It's always required whenever you are coming on a stage. Just prepare, then come on stage. So it's any role. Moving on to our listener for the day. Our listener just great job. He was well prepared. Presented the theme really very well. Just not many suggestions for him. Next is a role play joke master, Toastmaster Pooja Kutecha. I love the real life jokes of Toastmaster Pooja. Just love the way, love the characterization. Just when she presented the Ola driver, Uber driver and herself, and then she correlated all these jokes. So I believe that she has great comic timing, and she can use this in her speeches as well. Just small piece of advice: time is for everyone. It's just 2 minutes, not 4 minutes. So time was taken too much, and joke needs to be one only. 2 minutes, one joke is sufficient. We don't need to mention 3-4 jokes. Next, our table topic master Navya was very confident, and I love that how she used the time, just 9 minutes. So I do not have any recommendations for her. Next is our evaluator, Toastmaster Kashish Jain. Before coming to Kashish Jain, I would like to come up for Toastmaster Deepak Menon, because Toastmaster Deepak Menon presented what needs to be an evaluation. Have you noticed the first line, what he said? In the first or second line, he mentioned that he fulfilled the objectives. That means objectives were there, that which he narrated in the beginning. We need to be specific about the objectives. What was the objective? Whether it has been covered or not. And I have chosen some of the words from his evaluation: structure, objective, delivery, eye contact. You just need to find out whether these words were there in all the remaining evaluators evaluation. We will get the answer. So rather than it's for all the evaluators follow the CRC approach, just few pieces of advice is that we need to be objective specific. We don't need to narrate what has already been said. If we are narrating, that it should be like, suppose you are commenting about a structure. If it is structure, then we need to mention that this part and this part were related, so we can say structure was there. Whenever we were mentioning that vocal variety is there, so if you are mentioning vocal variety, if you can mention anything like related to this thing, that would be better. No need to repeat what has already been said. So yes, that's all from my side, and all the role players have performed their role very, very well. Just I believe this energy could have been a bit higher. We need to raise our bar in terms of energy. It should be look like whenever you're on stage, you need to be in command that I am on stage. It should not be in any kind of hurry that I'm going to hand over to this to any person. Stage is all yours. It's 2 minutes or 10 minutes. So with this, I hand over stage back to our chief of happiness, our happiness master, Toastmaster, the Toastmaster Joy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Dear friends, Toastmasters, please get out of Clearomania and put your hands together to welcome back on the stage my friend and current club president, P1 and the only Toastmaster Karanveer Singh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ever Energetic Toastmaster Joy. I had a great time today. I hope you all had too. Well, it's time to vote for best role player now. We had 3 role players: Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Joy; Table Topics Master, Toastmaster Navya; and a general evaluator with his valuable feedback, Toastmaster Ankit Sinha. May I request the Tech Master to please launch the polls. Beating the quarantine blues is one of the trending topics and a much needed one. I hope with the rising cases, everyone is safe and everyone has their families also safe. If there is anything you need, if there is some way you need some help and we can help you out, please feel free to reach out to EC personally any time of the day. While the polls are being collected, I would also like to announce that after this meeting, all the guests will be moved to a breakout room for guest briefing. So please stay back, and also the members, please stay back for a few minutes. Toastmaster Ritvik, our VP Education, has something to say. Now it's time for the poll results. Who do you think was the best speaker today? Was it Toastmaster Anchal, Toastmaster Zubair, or Toastmaster Sakshi? Any guesses? Seeing no guesses, I think we should definitely announce it was our Toastmaster Zubair who won the best speaker today. Congratulations, Zubair. Who do you think was the best table topic speaker today? Was it guest Karthik? Was it Toastmaster Ritvik? Or was it guest the other guest came up?
Ritvik.
Toastmaster Ritvik.
Well, this time guest Karthik has seemed to beat Toastmaster Ritvik in that race. It's guest Karthik, best table topic speaker of the evening. Who do you think was the best evaluator today? Was it Toastmaster Ritvik, TTM Deepak Menon, Toastmaster Pragati Jain?
Deepak Menon, sir.
Toastmaster Deepak Menon, sir.
Well, I couldn't agree more. He is still the unbeaten one, distinguished Toastmaster Deepak Menon. Who do you think was the best auxiliary role player today?
Toastmaster Sparshita.
Was it Toastmaster Sparshita for her beautiful presentation? Well, yes, that was indeed a beautiful presentation, but the best auxiliary award goes to Toastmaster Darshan Singh. He presented the role very beautifully and also he took up that role at the very last moment. So thank you so much, Toastmaster Darshan, for that. Now, do we have the results of best role players? Yes, we do. Who do you think was the best role player of the evening? And I need guesses. Please unmute yourself and feel free to shout for the guesses now.
Toastmaster Joy.
Toastmaster Joy.
Okay. Toastmaster Joy.
Toastmaster Joy Day.
Hi, all three gone.
Well, if everyone is saying Toastmaster Joy, how it could be someone else? It's a chief happiness officer, Toastmaster Joy. Congratulations to all the role players. May I request everyone to turn their cameras on for a group picture, please. Everybody say cheese. Okay, we have others turning up. Please turn on quickly. Sichis. Thank you so much. We are officially done with the meeting. We will try to improve on our timings as we need to. Thank you so much. I hereby officially end the meeting. All the guests are requested to stay back and members as well. Thank you so much.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Ritvik, are you here?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be taking over.